Good morning and Sairam to all the students. Welcome back in your social science class. So today we are going to study one chapter from history, and our book name is Our Past Part 1. Everybody knows about this book, and today we are going to study chapter number 7, Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. Now, I want to mention this again that those students who are using the old edition of NCERT book, in those book this is chapter number 8. The chapter is same, the content is same, only the number is changed, because in the new edition of the NCERT book we have 11 chapters only, and in the old edition we have 12 chapters. So in our new edition this is chapter number 7, Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war, and in our old edition it is chapter number 8, Ashoka, the emperor who gave up war. And from now we will do according to the new edition of the NCERT book, that is this chapter number is 7, Ashoka, the emperor who gave up the war. Everybody knows about Ashoka, the emperor Ashoka. You may heard stories on Ashoka, you may seen like series on Ashoka, and you know what is this is Ashok Chakra, and you have seen this Ashok Chakra on our national flag. Now one more picture I'm going to show you. This is known as the Ashok Stamp, and the lion capital. You must seen this lion capital on our currency note. So you must thinking why it is so important that it is on our currency note. Yes, it is important. That's why it is on our currency note, because Ashoka was one of the greatest emperor of our history, and his empire was so you can say powerful. He has a powerful empire, and he has a great you can say story or a history uh, in, or we can say it is a powerful emperor. So now let's start our chapter, a very big kingdom and empire. The lions that we see on our notes and coins have a long history. The lions mean these lions we were talking about. They were carved in stone and placed on top of the massive stone pillar at Sarnath. And there was a Ashok Stamp at Sarnath, where Ashok has, you can say, Ashok has written, or he has inscriptions is there of Ashoka. Ashoka was one of the greatest ruler known to history, and on his instruction, inscriptions were inscribed on pillar as well as on rocks and surface. After the Kalinga Yuddha, Ashoka uh, changed his heart. From the cruel emperor, he became a saint, and he started giving kind words to everyone. So we will see, or we will study about this story also. But in starting, I want to tell you that yes, Ashoka was one of the greatest ruler known to history. That's why his that Ashok Chakra was on his name. Now we'll see why his kingdom called an empire. The empire that Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya. What was his grandfather name? Chandragupta Maurya. Remember this. This maybe come as your MCQ, that Ashoka's grandfather name is Chandragupta Maurya, and he ruled more than 2300 years ago. Chandragupta Maurya was supported by his wise men. Wise means intelligent men, named Chanakya or Kautilya. And everybody knows about the Chanakya Niti. Everybody knows Chanakya's ideas were written down in the book called Arthashastra. This is also a very important point, that Chanakya ideas were written in a book named or called Arthashastra. So I want to tell you that the empire the Ashoka ruled was founded by his grandfather Chandragupta Maurya more than 2300 years ago. So it was ruled by Ashoka Chandragupta, and his grandfather founded that empire or the kingdom, and his grandfather name was Chandragupta Maurya, and it was founded around 2300 years ago. And Chandragupta Maurya was supported by a wise man named Chanakya or Kautilya, and Chanakya's ideas were written in a book called Arthashastra. It was a very famous book named Arthashastra. There were several cities in the empire, so everybody knows that we have lot of cities in the empire. We'll have one diagram, or we have one map also. According to the old book edition, it is on the page number 76. So you can see with the red dot we have inscriptions were found, and with the we can say with the black dot we have the important city. So yes, the empire, Ashoka empire, has lot of cities. These cities includes capital Patliputra. So what was the name of the Ashoka empire capital? Patliputra. And Takshila and Ujjain were also the important cities. How Takshila was the important city? Because Takshila was a gateway to the northwest, including Central Asia. Here gateway means where the people can enter, or they can do trade, or they can do business. Ujjain lay on the route from north to south India. So basically merchants, official craft person, basically those who want to do trade with Ashoka, they lived in these cities, Takshila and Ujjain. So they were also known as the financial cities of that country, or we can say that empire. So Mauryan empire, so it is also known as the Mauryan empire, because the full name of the Ashoka's grandfather is Chandragupta Maurya. So probably we know his empire as the Mauryan empire. Okay, so Mauryan empire has a very you can say famous past, and we are studying about the Mauryan Empire. Now, everybody knows that Chandragupta Maurya was the grandfather of the Ashoka, and Ashoka was the grandson of the Chandragupta Maurya, and Chandragupta Maurya founded the Mauryan Empire in around 2300 years ago. And the famous cities of that empire is Patliputra, Takshila, and Ujjain, where Patliputra was its capital. Takshila and Ujjain was like finance city, or we can say very famous for the trading. But it's not that only these three cities were there were many cities. In other area there were village of farmers and herders. Everybody knows about the farmers and herders. In the starting, in the first chapter, we were talking about the farmers and herders. In some areas, such as the central India, there were forests where people gathered forest produce and hunted animals for food. So you can see there are variety of people, variety of occupation. People in the different parts of the empire spoke different languages. So it's not like everyone is speaking the same kind of language. As you know that India is a has a variety of languages. Similarly, the Mauryan Empire also has a variety of languages that time also. So people in the different parts of the empire spoke different languages. They probably a different kind of food. So they have different kind of food, and even they wore different kinds of clothes as well. So now you can see the difference between their you can see their adaptation. Some people, those who are farmer, they used to speak different language, they used to eat different things, they used to wear different kind of clothes. The people, those who are traveler, traders, they were different from the farmers and the herders. So overall I want to tell you that yes, that Mauryan empire has a very powerful past, and it has lot of cities. Some cities are famous for trading, some cities are famous for farming, some cities are famous for hunters and gatherers. So all over people, those who want to do trading with the you can say Mauryan empire, they used to live in Takshila and Ujjain, as well as the Patliputra, as Patliputra was the capital of the Mauryan empire that time. So in this we can say in this slide, in these slides we study about the how the Mauryan Empire and how the cities of the Mauryan Empire, how are empires different from kingdom. So our next topic is how are empires different from kingdom. So emperor needs more resources than kings because emperors are larger than kingdom. So you, I'll tell you, like small kingdoms make one empire. So when we are going to rule an empire, so we need more resources. So similarly, an emperor need more resources than a king and need to be protected by the big armies, and so also they need a larger number of officials who collect taxes. So overall, if you see how the kingdoms and the emperor empire is different, so you can say the kingdom is a part of the empire, and empire needs huge funds, empire need huge army, empire need more officials than a kingdom. So this is a basic difference between the empire and the kingdom. Only what, that empire are big in size, kingdoms are small in size. Empire need more resources, funds, taxes. Kingdom needs less resources, less funds, less taxes. Empire needs big army and they need more official than kingdoms. So these are some basic points of different of an empire and a kingdom. So that's why if we are if a king is ruling a small area, it is known as king. But when a person, a king is ruling a very big area, he is known as emperor. So what is the basic difference between king and emperor? I hope now you know this very well. So here we have some small summary of Mauryan Empire kings. So as I told you that Mauryan Empire was founded by the Chandragupta Maurya. So this is Chandragupta Maurya, or we can say, so the first king who founded this empire, or we say this is Mauryan Empire, known as the Chandragupta Maurya. Afterward his son Bindusara, then his grandson Ashoka, and as I told you that Ashoka has expanded his empire very well, and at the lot, and he captured lot of boundaries. After Ashoka, this was Dashatra, then Samantri, then Shukla, then Devabrahman. These are the line of, basically we were talking about the Ashoka. So yes, Ashoka's father name was Bindusara and his father name was Chandragupta Maurya. So these are the series of the kings of the Mauryan Empire according to their, you can see, according to their time period of their kingdom. So this is the series of the Mauryan Empire. So Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara, Ashoka, and then Dashatra, then Sampatri. And in 187 or 180 BCE, the last king, or we can say that after some time his empire was started to decline. So yes, this is all about the Ashoka. We are going to study about only Ashoka, not on Chandragupta Maurya or Bindusara. So yes, Ashoka was the greatest ruler of the known, or greatest ruler of the history. So in our next session we'll study about how Ashoka's unique ruler, Ashoka war in Kalinga, and many other things. So again I'm saying, telling you student, read the chapter again and again, because your question paper will be MCQ, and you will get a MCQ question from any line of the book. So read each and every line from the book. Study at home. Now it's time to study again, because very soon your P3 will start to, so students, study at home. Saira.